everyone. Welcome back to our weekly podcast. I'm James, your host, and today's episode is all about two things we all chase: pleasure and happiness. Are they the same? Are they both important? Or are we spending too much time on one and ignoring the other? These are big questions, and to help me unpack them, I have with me our brilliant and always insightful guest, Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi, James. Hi, listeners. I'm so excited to talk about this today. You know, pleasure and happiness are two words we throw around all the time, but they're not as simple as they seem. Most of us are chasing one, thinking it's the other, and that can lead to a lot of confusion in our lives.
That's so true, and folks, this isn't just theory. We're going to share real-life stories, science, and tips to help you understand the difference and find the right balance in your life. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's get started. All right, Emily, let's start by breaking it down. What exactly is pleasure, and how is it different from happiness?
Great question, James. Pleasure is what we feel when we experience something enjoyable in the moment, like eating a slice of chocolate cake, buying a new gadget, or scrolling through funny videos online. It's short-lived and tied to our senses. Happiness, on the other hand, is deeper. It's the feeling of being content, fulfilled, and at peace with yourself. It comes from things like strong relationships, achieving goals, or living a meaningful life.
So pleasure is like a spark. It lights up quickly but burns out fast. Happiness is more like a steady fire. It takes time to build but keeps you warm for longer.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Both are important, but if we focus too much on pleasure, we might miss out on happiness.
That's a great point. Listeners, think about your own life. When was the last time you felt truly happy? Not just a moment of fun, but real, lasting happiness? Let us know in the comments. Emily, let's dive into what's happening in our brains. What makes us feel pleasure and happiness?
This part is fascinating. Pleasure is linked to dopamine, the feel-good chemical. When you eat something delicious or get likes on social media, your brain releases dopamine. It's like a reward system. Happiness, on the other hand, is connected to serotonin, which is more about long-term well-being. It's what you feel when you spend time with loved ones, practice gratitude, or achieve a personal goal.
So dopamine is like the party starter, while serotonin is more like the wise friend who stays with you for the long haul.
Exactly, but here's the catch. Our brains are wired to crave dopamine because it's instant. That's why so many of us get stuck chasing pleasures, like binge-watching shows or shopping sprees, thinking it'll make us happy.
That's so relatable. I remember a time when I'd buy new gadgets to feel good, but the excitement never lasted. It was like filling a bucket with holes. No matter how much I poured in, it was never enough.
That's such a great analogy, James. Pleasure can be addictive, but it doesn't satisfy us in the long run.
Emily, let's make this real. Can you share some examples of how people confuse pleasure and happiness in everyday life?
Absolutely. One example is social media. People often scroll for hours, chasing the thrill of likes and comments. It's pleasurable, but after a while they feel drained or even worse about themselves. On the other hand, spending quality time with family or volunteering can make you genuinely happy. It doesn't give you a quick dopamine hit, but it leaves you feeling fulfilled.
That's so true. For me, it was about food. I used to eat junk food whenever I felt stressed. It gave me a momentary high, but I always felt guilty afterward. When I started cooking healthy meals, it wasn't as exciting at first, but it made me feel so much better in the long run.
I can relate to that. Another example is spending money. Buying things can bring pleasure, but investing in experiences, like traveling or learning something new, leaves you with lasting memories and growth.
Listeners, think about your own life. Are there areas where you're chasing pleasure but missing out on happiness? Reflect on that while we take a short break. All right, Emily, let's get to the good stuff. How can we balance pleasure and happiness in our lives?
Here are some simple strategies. Pause and reflect. Before you act on a desire, ask yourself, will this make me happy in the long run, or is it just for now? Enjoy pleasure mindfully. It's okay to indulge in pleasures like desserts or entertainment, but do it consciously and in moderation. Invest in relationships. Happiness often comes from meaningful connections. spend time with friends and family. Practice gratitude. Every day, take a moment to appreciate what you have. It shifts your focus from fleeting pleasures to lasting joys. Set long-term goals. Work on something meaningful, like a skill or a project. Achieving it will bring true satisfaction.
I love those tips. For me, setting boundaries around screen time was a game changer. It helped me focus on real connections instead of virtual ones.
That's a great example, James. And listeners, remember, it's not about giving up pleasure. It's about making room for happiness too.
All right, Emily, now it's time for one of my favorite parts of the show, our audience Q&A. We've received some fantastic questions, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Are you ready?
Absolutely, James. Let's see what our listeners are curious about today.
Amelia from London. My friends and I compare ourselves to others on social media. It's exhausting. What should we do?
Amelia, stop comparing. Social media only shows highlights, not reality. Limit your time online and spend more time with real friends and doing things you love.
Well said, Emily. Amelia, focus on your unique journey. That's what truly matters. Priya from Mumbai. I feel guilty enjoying small pleasures like desserts or shopping. How do I stop feeling this way?
Priya, small joys are important. Enjoy them mindfully. Savor your dessert or shop with purpose, not impulse. Guilt comes when we overdo it, so just find a balance.
Exactly, Emily. Priya, life's about balance. Treat yourself and enjoy the moment. The last question is from Sarah in Dubai. I work hard to achieve my goals but feel stressed. How do I balance work and happiness?
Sarah, you need to recharge. Schedule time daily, even 15 minutes for something you enjoy. It could be reading, exercising, or relaxing. A happy mind is a productive mind.
Spot on, Emily. Sarah, remember, it's about enjoying the journey, not just the destination. Emily, this has been such an insightful conversation. Let's recap the key takeaways for our listeners.
Of course, pleasure is short-term and tied to instant gratification. Happiness is long-term and comes from meaning, purpose, and connection. To thrive, balance both. Enjoy life's pleasures, but prioritize what truly fulfills you.
Well said. And remember, listeners, life is too short to chase only sparks when you can have a steady flame. Thank you so much for joining us today, Emily.
Thank you, James, and thank you, listeners. It's always a pleasure to be here.
That's all for today, folks. If this episode made you think, laugh, or reflect, share it with someone you care about. And remember, happiness isn't out there. It's within you. See you soon.